Tuesday's tips, simple and easy. Hope you enjoy.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Tuesday's tip. Today's tips are what I do with some of the products that I use that get right down to the bitter end, but there's still a good amount in there that just won't pump out or squeeze out. So I'm going to share the tips that I have for that, and also how I turn this crazy stuffed basket into a basket filled with neatly folded plastic bags. Now you might be thinking, oh wow, you have way too much time on your hands, but actually this is just one of those things you can do with all those plastic bags you save from the grocery store. If you're not one to want to hang or stuff the bags inside of a sewn cloth bag, because then it just ends up busting out at the seams, it's kind of a mindless thing you can just do as you're sitting there. It doesn't really take a whole lot of thought, but pretty soon you have a whole basket full of neatly folded plastic bags. So let me share my tips. But first of all, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Mary Ann. I am aging gracefully, and I'm happy that you're here. And if you like this video and the content, please hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate it. And I'd also appreciate any tips that you can share around the house, or whatever special tips that you have that you think might be of interest to others. And I am happy to experiment and try it. And if it's a great tip, I will be more than happy to share it. But let's get started. So here you can see I have a tube of, this is Tula Probiotic Skincare. I have a couple of Colleen Rothschild small sample bottles, and then the Lanolips. And I'm going to share with you what I do. Now, this tubing here is pretty much down to the very bottom. I don't know how much is up in this area, but when it starts to get down to that point where it's really hard to squeeze out, you know, you can shake as much of it down as possible, but then when you go to squeeze it, you usually get a big blob of air with the product, and then you've squeezed out like enough for 3 or 4 applications. And I just don't like that because I think it's such a waste. So what I do is I get a really good pair of cutting scissors, and you just want to make sure that they're good and sharp ones. And what I do is I take the tubing and I kind of just go right in half and cut it. Try to make it as straight as possible. There we go. And as you can see, the top of that tubing is pretty clear, but let's see what's left in the bottom. There we go. We still have a good amount, but when I would go to squeeze it, I wouldn't get very much out, and then as I shake it down to squeeze it, I get more than I need for just one application. So since the top is really clean, what I like to do is just make sure it's super clean and dried out, and then I just take the top and I put it right over, and I continue to use the what's left in the tube. So in order to get what's in the tube out, now that I've cut it, if I don't want to keep sticking my fingers and my hands in there, I use these spatulas, and I will try to link them below. They're great. They're makeup spatulas, and I believe I got this one on Amazon. Either that or Sephora, but I will look for you. I use this in my, as you can see, it's a little discolored, my makeup jars, whatever I want to just scrape out. It has a really nice long handle, and so it's great. And what I'll do in the morning is just go in there, scoop out what I need, put it in my hand, and then rinse it right off, because it is like a little rubber spatula, and put the top on. So it's a great tip. It's a great way to empty out these tubes and make sure that you're getting your money's worth, because there's so much that's usually left inside that you can't squeeze out. Now here's a little Lanolip that I have already cut, and I will share with you what I do because this is a little gooey and sticky. I cleaned out the top, and sometimes when you put it back, you know, over, it will get a little bit messy, but all you have to do is wipe it off. And then sometimes it's easy on these, because it just depends on what it is, to just squeeze out the amount you need, grab it with your finger, and then apply it to your lips. And then clean it up. I don't have my tissues here. And then just put the lid on it. And it stays great. Also, another great tip. This is a cuticle, a finger cuticle pusher. And instead of using it for that, because it has this flat edge that's narrowed and it's on a little slant, it also makes a great little spatula. So I will use this for little items like this. It works great. Now here I have a sample of Colleen Rothschild. This one happens to be the Age Renewal Serum that's almost gone, and the Mandelic Acid. So what I do on this one, and I just love the fact that some of these are just crazy ridiculous and you can't get the lids off. But this particular one you can. And you can see I am right down to the very bottom, but there's still enough in there for a good 2 or 3 uses. And so what I do with this is when it's still on the side, I'll use this inside pole to just get what I can there, put it on the back of my hand, and then dab it on my face. Or I make sure that I have this cleaned, and since I've messed with it, I'm not going to put it in here, but then I just go ahead and insert in there, pull a little out, and then right here on my hand I just wipe off what I'm going to use, and then I go ahead and screw the lid back on and get every bit of goodness out of it. Now this one's a little more liquidy, and this also is a spray. Oh, my hands are so, ooh, kind of little mucky from the, and this is a little different because it will pour out. And so if you want, you can just dab it on the end of this, and then again you can apply it to your skin on the back of your hand, or just, you know, if your fingertips are clean, just pour it out on your fingertip and rub it in and get all that goodness, because this would not spray out anymore, and neither would this. And so I think that I've been just doing this for such a long time that every time I have the opportunity to get in there, and sometimes I'm amazed at how much is left on the insides that just won't come down. It's just really a good tip. And this is great, especially for makeup bottles, because you can really get in there and scrape out and get every bit of your money's worth when you're doing that. And next I will share with you what I do with my grocery bags. So I have a grocery bag here that, let me just move all this back. Oh, I've got a stack of them in this basket, and so if I can show you, take the bag, and what I do is I just tuck the sides in, both ends. I hope you can see this. I know this isn't the best situation here. So I get the ends tucked in, and then just flatten it out, fold it in half, fold it in half again, get it as straight as you can, and then just start folding it on this little diagonal. Don't worry if it sticks out at first, because you'll catch it all up. As you can see, it just starts folding on itself, and you're creating this kind of little football. I know when I was in school, we used to make these in especially the boys, they used to just flick them across the desks. And then I just tuck the ends in here, and you have this nice little compact triangle. and it's great to stick in your basket and grab them when you need them. I'm all for reusing everything and recycling as much as I can. Well, there, I knocked everything over, and it just makes it so much more easier to grab what you need for garbage bags, or I always like when I'm cooking in the kitchen to have a garbage bowl on the top of the counter so I can throw everything in there, and in the garbage bowl I like to line it. So I know they have those little hanging cloth plastic bag holders, but you know, they end up getting to be overstuffed and it's ridiculous. And so if you find yourself a cute little basket that you can stick in your pantry or under a cupboard or something and just fill them with these. I use a lot of these also for cleaning the debris out in the backyard, like the dog debris, and so they do come in handy. And so I just fold them all up and I stick them out in a little drawer. They just sit so nicely in the basket. So that's it, guys. Not rocket science, but I hope you enjoyed these 2 little tips. This is something that I do all the time and utilize in my home because I think they're just nifty little tips. So until my next video, be kind, be humble, and age gracefully. Bye.